On today's episode of Two Crazy Guys, One Crazy World, we'll give you a quick update on the crypto market and find out who was right on yesterday's bet. We'll also let you know there's something so rare there's not even enough for every millionaire in the world to have one. And we congratulate the wonderful leadership of New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinta Arden again. This time, story has leaked about her picking up groceries at a local store. Well, so what, you say? Well, listen in to find out what she did. And then we looked longingly at the state of our own politicians. We then take a quick snapshot of the federal budget. Yep, it's that exciting. We then dive into the sporting world and discuss money and sport. And then we have a chat about Qantas. We congratulate them on something very good that they've done. And then we backhand them with something not so good. So come fly with us, the two crazy guys in one crazy world.
Two Crazy Guys in One Crazy World podcast is put together to bring you, the everyday folk, some newsworthy information that will help you throughout your day, with some lighthearted banter that'll tickle your funny bone. So turn up the volume, relax where you may be, and get ready to roll with these crazy guys. Just don't break their hips. Here are Chris and Stacey.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Two Crazy Guys in One Crazy World coming to you with episode 7. And on my left here on my screen, I have Stacey. Say hello, Stacey.
Hello, Stacey.
Oh my God, there we go. I'm telling him to say hello to you lot out there, and he's sitting there saying, hello, Stacey. Well, no doubt waving at himself in the mirror or something.
I'm just doing what I'm told, right? Because I'm such a good boy. I always do it.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're still with us here in episode 7, I did say episode 8 a minute ago. It's actually episode 7, but I get confused because we did 2 different intros. Remember, if you go through them, we've got our original intro, but then we thought, well, we didn't really tell people enough about ourselves, so we've gone back and we've actually done a second intro. So that's sort of a quasi-episode. So this is actually episode 7, but for some people, if they count them, you might get to 8. But honestly, if you do,
that's right.
Trust me, it's still episode 7.
Yes.
Right, so how are you, buddy?
Good, mate. Good. Yes. No. Still enjoying the lovely warmth here in lovely Queensland. Although I've actually been able to turn off the aircon. It's perfect temperatures, high 20s, just beautiful.
Well, I can tell you that we've actually had our ducted heating on for 3 days.
What already?
Yeah.
Oh, lordy.
The nights have been down around 5 degrees, and so that's just a little bit too cold.
Oh, I'm going to have to prepare myself because we're coming down your way at Easter time to see our beautiful little granddaughter. So, yeah. Oh.
Yeah, so it has been getting a little bit chilly, but the days, we've still got 21 degrees today, so it's not too bad. Although, having said that, I'm sitting here in a T-shirt, and I'm actually a little bit chilly, and I'm not quite sure why. Maybe it's the fact that I let the dog out into the lounge room and it's chewed my beautiful princess's doorstopper. That sort of chilled down my spine because once she finds that out,
you'll be in trouble there.
Am I dead meat?
You'll be in trouble.
I put everything else away. The doorstopper, for God's sake. Maybe it's because it looks like a cat.
Well, yes.
I don't know.
Might have something to do with that.
Yesterday, my friend, we said crypto. We gave a little bit of a spiel about the crypto little bull run because the Bears had its shores trimmed, or claws, not shores, claws trimmed, and they're not quite as sharp. And I said that Bitcoin, this is where my brilliance comes in, ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin would be between 4,800 and 4,900. Stacey.
Wow.
Said yes. 4,900 and 5,000, then had a second bet to say, well, probably just over 5,000. So 24 hours later, where is it, Mr. Boastal? Give us the news. Who's right? Of course it's me, because if it got the price nearer to you, it's because I allowed it to go up today.
Currently 5011 on the coin checkup.
Oh, the pain. That means I have to say that word.
Go on, say it.
It means, ladies and gentlemen, that I was possibly a little bit out in my calculations. But I was not.
You can't. I still haven't heard those words. Come on.
I know. And you're not going to hear it. No, wait. Okay. The part that you will hear, Stacey was actually spot on in his calculations. He said just over 5,000, and it is sitting at just over 5,000. It's not a bad thing. Now, if you bought, per chance, a little coin called Red Coin yesterday. Red Coin is this unknown alternate crypto. if you'd put $1,000 into Redcoin yesterday, people would have said you've taken drugs. But guess what? You would have $1,200 today because it went up 20% overnight. No rhyme, no reason. I can't tell you why, but I'm using that one as an example of how volatile the crypto market can be. No one knows why Redcoin's gone up. It hasn't done anything, but it's gone up, and that's great because I've got 50,000 of them.
50,000.
So I'm happy it went up.
They're worth 0.3 of a US cent.
And what's 50,000 times 0.3?
Not much.
It used to be more. They used to be worth 1.5 cents each.
Why is this taking so long to load? I was trying to load.
Here we go.
Trying to load the chart, but for some reason it's just sitting there. It's probably because it's going Redcoin. Really?
Redcoin? Who's looking at Redcoin?
Really? You want a chart on that?
Yeah, I know. I know.
Oh yeah. I don't think we're worried about it.
They've got. I'd get rid of it. They've got the little people out the back trying to draw one. It's going to come up an A4 piece of paper with a squiggle on it. That's true.
Oh, that's gold.
They probably have, mate. Because they're scratching their heads saying, "Who the hell is looking at that?
Who's done the Redcoin chart? Quick, come on! Somebody's asking for it."
Well, I've got Redcoin.
Quick, the red texters, hurry up, bring them, bring them.
I know, it's good. But anyway, so once again, as per yesterday, it does appear the cryptocurrency is on a little bit of a surge. Right now, there's a lot more red there on the Stacey screen you can see today. Yesterday there was no red, but if he moves it around there, you can see a couple of little bit of red, pink ones.
A couple of 24-hour.
So things aren't moving as well today as they did yesterday, but they are moving. Right, and that's the thing. Some are going up, some are going down, but I think the biggest gain overnight was like 31 or 32%. There's a few coins that have gone up in the 30% overnight. So if you've happened to pick them, you've made some money, ladies and gentlemen.
The big thing is the total market cap, right? So you can see here, we're floating along. Overnight. This is since this chart here I'm showing for those that are not looking on their computer and listening to us in the audio land. We've got a chart here showing from about the 21st of March where the total market cap's bouncing around the 140, high 130 billion mark up until the 2nd of April. And then all of a sudden it's just shot up and it actually hit almost 180 billion in the last 24 hours. And
which is not a bad little wicket if you're on it.
Yeah, no, that's right. So it's currently sitting at 174 billion. So it's the last couple of days has seen a significant amount of money come back into the market. So that's,
as I said yesterday, that when people say that cryptocurrency is dead, ladies and gentlemen, well, there's 174,000 million reasons that it's not actually dead. Right, so don't believe all the naysayers. It's gone through some hard times. It'll go through more hard times. There's no doubt about that in the world. But it will come out on the other side. Yep. And cryptocurrency is here to stay.
Yes. And so, interestingly, if you look at the 24-hour volume as well, so the trading volume, how much money's been traded around the world, we've gone from the $30 billion a day mark, and we're up into we're looking about $87 billion a day currently being traded in the industry.
Not bad, eh? Not bad at all.
Well,
all right.
Yes. And you got to ask the question, though, right? The total market cap's only 176 billion or whatever it is right now. So 87 of that is being bought and sold every day. I don't know. It seems rather high to me. I'm a bit suspect that these exchanges are operating a bit like derivative funds where they're trading a lot of coins they don't actually have themselves, right? So
eToro is a case in point. They work very much on the case of that their price is averaged out over all of the exchanges they use to buy their coins. So if you've invested in cryptocurrency through eToro, you don't actually hold the coin. You hold the theoretical coin and the value of those an average price of those theoretical coins.
Yeah, right.
So unlike, say, Bittrex, who I have an account with, where I've got coins in there, including my 50,000 red coin. I could take those 50,000 red coin and I could stick them in my crypto wallet.
Coin. Oh, seriously.
I know. But I could take them and I could stick them in a crypto wallet that's held on my phone. Right? But in eToro, if I had 50,000 red coin, I could only sell them or buy. That's it. You can't take them and stick them in your own crypto wallet. Right? Because they're theoretical. It's really weird setup, and that's how I got into crypto, and I'm still sitting there because the money's still sitting there. Well, let me just say, the money is still sitting there just. Because whilst I had the WOD, it slowly shrunk over time, and that's the hard times that crypto's going through. But I'm in for the long haul, so I'm going to sit there and watch it go like that. Go out, and then my fingers will stretch, and we'll have more dollars.
Absolutely. And look, I'd like to think that by the end of the month we'll be seeing $6,000 in Bitcoin.
It would be nice.
US.
It would be nice.
And look, I think we've got a pretty good chance.
I don't hold actually much actual Bitcoin though, because I tended to go into the alts. I did hold Bitcoin. I had more than one Bitcoin at one point, but then sold that off and bought the alts when someone told me to diversify because I had all of my money in one thing.
Yep.
And they said diversify, so I diversified, and I've never if that's diversified, I've never versified and went the other way.
You versify a lot.
Yeah. So if I look at my Bittrex there, it says in my Bittrex, whereas I used to have like over one Bitcoin, I've got 0.14, but it's actually spread over several different altcoins. And that's the way it works, ladies and gents. So you can hold Bitcoin, and they will always revert back. Well, they will revert to cash, but altcoins will always revert back to a Bitcoin value as well.
Yes. Bitcoin is the granddaddy of them all. Let's face it. And that's right. It was the
Satoshi
first.
Nakamura.
It's the biggest. But look, and here's the way I think of it. It's when I look at Bitcoin in particular, right, we know that there's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin mined, right?
Yep.
There's not going to be any more than that. So there's not even enough Bitcoin for every millionaire in the world to own one.
Yeah.
So the way I look at it is purely from a scarcity and supply and demand factor. If I hold at least one Bitcoin, just one, over time, the value of that has to rise purely from a scarcity perspective. If
that's true. And did you know they estimate something like 8 million have been lost?
I think it's about 3 million actually.
Is it? I thought it was 8. It's a figure in 8. But there you go. That's one of my calculations again.
Yes. So
they'll never be found.
There's a very low likelihood that they will absolutely be found. Yes. So you have to assume. You have to assume that we're probably only going to have 17 to 18 million in circulation that is actually accessible, and that 3 to 4 million over that time is not going to be in circulation or accessible. So,
ladies and gents, if you're wondering how they get lost, there's varying ways, but one of the easy ways to explain is you can actually download a piece of software called a wallet to your phone, like to a smartphone, and you can store your Bitcoin in your smartphone, i.e. they come with a code, a massive long code, and that's the code that says what your Bitcoin is, and you can store it in your iPhone. Now, if you drop your iPhone in the toilet and you happen to not have a backup of that code or that software anywhere, and you fry your phone, if you don't know what that code is, and 99% of those people out there don't know what that code is, that's gone. And you have no way of getting it back. And that is actually a real scenario. There was a guy during the height of Bitcoin. He dropped something like 17 Bitcoins down the loop because he only had it on his phone and he lost all of that money. Right? So if you do happen to understand what a software wallet is on your phone, please ensure that you've got a backup because you don't want to drop it down the loo. That would just be a really shitty thing to do.
Oh, Chris. Oh, your jokes are getting worse, mate, not better.
Sorry, mate. That's a pretty piss poor joke.
They're just getting better. So look, I was just
All
going
right.
to show you quickly on CoinMarketCap. It shows you here that circulating supply is currently 17.5 million. The maximum supply will only ever be 21 million. So, as I said, from purely a scarcity perspective, there will never be enough for each millionaire in the world to own one Bitcoin. So, for me, I want to own at least one Bitcoin. That's
Yeah.
for me. That's just, and you just got to hold it. You get it and you hold it. You know?
Yeah.
So,
You'd have more than one now, wouldn't you?
Maybe
It'll be
maybe
close
not.
to one. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey,
So-
let's have a look, ladies and gents. He's probably got his thing up there somewhere.
No, it's not visible. Trust me.
Yeah, no.
I
That's
actually
why
keep
talked
most of
about-
mine stored in a hardware wallet. Cold
Oh,
storage.
did you buy
hardware
one of the
wallet.
little hardware ones?
I did. And we
Oh,
might
cool.
do an episode on that.
Yeah, it sounds like
Show,
a good thing.
show people
All right,
how to use it and stuff.
that can wrap up our session on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies for the day, and we
Yes,
can move
indeed.
right along to our crazy news of the day.
So what have you got,
I
Mr.
don't
Deal?
think we have. Right, oh mate, I've got a couple. First one is a really big, like Bravo Zulu. It's an old Navy term of well done, congratulations, and all that sort of stuff. Right, a real big one. Once more to who has to be the world leader of excellence,
Just
Jacinta
so-
Arden.
Oh, okay, cool.
Jacinta Arden. I mean, dead set. Who wouldn't have this lady as your prime minister? Firstly, I mean, she's done brilliantly ever since the massacre in Christchurch. She's done brilliantly since she was elected. Let's
Yep.
face it. Everyone loves her, and she's just come in there and said, I'm a real person. So get over it. From the day they caught her painting her fence when she was pregnant. You know? That,
Why is that being caught?
Well, they took a photo and they're like, but you're the prime minister. You've just been elected and you're out painting a fence. And she said, yeah, well,
So
someone's
what?
got to do it. But how many of the pollies will be doing it? They're all there getting their ties and their dresses and everything else done, you know? Well, she was out buying her groceries the other day. She's a young mum. And she's out buying her groceries like most of them do. And there's another thing. How many of our pollies, would you ever see the Australian Prime Minister lining up to buy his groceries at a supermarket?
They'll be doing it now as purely as a political stunt to try and get on the news and make them
Say,
look
I
good.
do it too. Yeah. Well, Jacinta was in the supermarket the other day, and the lady, a couple in front of her, I don't know if she was directly in front of her or two in front of her. I just lost the end of my pencil. Oh, well. Two in front of her had bought her groceries or went to pay for them, and realised she'd left her wallet at home. Right?
Okay.
Up steps the PM
Happens.
from heaven, and says, "That's okay, I'll get them," and
Did
just
she
pay
really?
for her groceries. Didn't ask for it back, didn't say anything else, just said, oh, look, I'm happy to do it. And someone asked her.
And there were no
afterwards,
cameras
because they
around.
Said, hey, was that no cameras around, no anything? There was no
Wasn't a
stunt
stunt or
about it.
anything.
No, it was just her being nice. And someone asked her about it because this story broke. It got leaked out and people saying, oh, did you know our Prime Minister paid for that lady's groceries, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, right.
And so she got asked about it. And they said, why did you do that? And she said she was a mother of two young kids who'd left a wallet at home.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I do
Why
it?
wouldn't you? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's no pretense about it. She's just an all-round amazing lady. So can we please have her? Can Bill Shorten, who I won't call what I want to call, and ScoMo, guys, can you please just have a bipartisan agreement that we can have her? If we have to speak Kiwi, we'll speak Kiwi. That's all right.
But there's already so many New Zealanders come to Australia. Why can't we just take that one?
Yeah.
One more.
Yeah,
That's like-
it's like if you go to Tassie, you'll see the apple isle and its colony and a little picture of Australia at the bottom or on the top or something, whereas the apple's this big, or Tassie's this big on the map and Australia's this little one.
Little one, yeah.
I don't care if they reverse it. If we can have Jacinta, we can live with that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, she's a wonderful
But
leader.
anyway,
Leading by
that's
example
just
as a real leader does.
What a wonderful, just a terrific story. Anyway, so what
Nice
do you
one.
got for us, buddy?
Nice
I've got
one.
another one, but in a minute.
Okay. Well, I thought I'd probably need to address the topical issue of the day, which is our federal budget. So talk about Fried and ScoMo out selling the dues of what they're out to do. And let's face it, this budget is all about an election campaign. So they're trying to
nothing
make
else,
it,
my friend.
yeah, they're trying to make it look as pretty as possible. So a couple of highlights. Call them
I've not
highlights.
seen that graphic before.
No, it's PwC's popped this one out as a glance. It's a really good one. So these are sort of one of the key topics, the key things that have come out of the budget.
For those that aren't looking at this through a video or listening to us through a video, Stacey's put up in front of us a graphic that explains the key points of the budget, like 7.1 billion budget surpluses, 158 billion in personal income tax relief, 20 billion medical research future fund, 1,080. 10 million Australians will get a $1,080 for tax relief for low and middle income earners.
Yep.
Funding for skills and education for 80,000 new apprenticeships.
Yep.
There's a new energy assessment payment. There's 81.8 billion in 1920 for health funding, increasing to 89.5 billion in 22-23, and it goes on. There's several more as well.
There are, and a whole bunch of there's 100 billion being set aside for infrastructure, which is
no fast rail though.
It's important. Well, yeah. Oh no, it's 2 billion for fast rail from Geelong to Melbourne.
But not from Canberra to Sydney.
No, I haven't seen that yet, so I'm not really sure where that's at. There's still been a lot of talk. I thought it had got a tick at some stage, but I have to look into that and see where that's at. But yeah, look, the key things here is the so-called tax relief being provided for middle low income earners. They're targeting, of course, some good news, trying to provide some good news to get re-elected. The budget surplus is interesting. I for one would love to see bigger surpluses being provided in the budgets, because the amount of debt that we are currently in really worries me. And so I'm actually
I'd just
really
like to see a budget surplus in my budget.
Yeah. Well, wouldn't we all, right? So I think right now it would be very irresponsible for any government to not provide a budget surplus. Whether they hit it or not, the reality is it probably won't. But at least they're trying to hit it, right? And I think
what was the surplus or deficit last year?
Deficit. We're still in deficit. We're still in deficit. I think this year we've still got about it's a $7 billion deficit this year, from memory. But it's going to take them, like, over the next 4 years, they're hoping to achieve about 45 billion. They are making a lot of assumptions, right? There's definitely some assumptions to be made in that. And in fact, KPMG also put out a bit of a summary as well, certainly from obviously for a major business perspective, this particular summary is sort of looking at. And when you look across these figures, some of the things that they're making some assumptions on is unemployment. So they've got a flat rate of 5% from across the next couple of years. Which, I think next couple of years might be safe. Maybe not. Don't know. CPI, they're still looking. There's a slight drop for 18-19, and then back up to 2.25, 2.5 by 2021, and 2.5 from then on. I think that is ambitious. I think that's going to take a lot of money printing to achieve that. I think our CPI is going to go down myself, based on a lot of the economic stuff that I'm seeing. And I think the only way they can make that is to just print more money and give it out. But that just increases our debt. So I'm not a lover of that idea. So they're also focusing on tax integrity. They've got more than $1 billion in funding to be provided to the ATO to focus on their tax avoidance task force, which for big business, I got no issues with. I think there's a lot of tax avoidance happening in the big end of town, and I think they can absolutely target that. Small to medium businesses, they're extending the asset write-off. So currently, they're increasing that from 25,000 to 30,000. So any asset you purchase up to 30 grand. I thought it was
still 20,000.
No, it's got up to 25. And so now that's going to go up to 30. Any small business with annual turnover of less than 10 million, and medium businesses of more than 10 but less than 50, they'll also be eligible for the write-off. So bit of a tax gain on there. Continued. I always worry when they want to make changes to superannuation. I'm very concerned with the way the super industry currently works. I think we're getting ripped off big time, which is one of the reasons why I created my self-managed super fund to get control of my own super. And the industry is rife with so many issues, and fees are the worst killer of our super.
It's atrocious.
And the performance is atrocious too. So not only are they underperforming, but they're charging us a shit ton of fees for that privilege, so to speak.
Yeah.
So they're making some other changes there. I've got to read into that a little bit more and get a real understanding of what that means. The interesting thing, though, is that they're sprouting on about their changes to the personal tax rates. So they're, but here's the thing, right? Effective from 2024 to 25 financial year.
Oh, wow.
Right? So when they're saying they're going to simplify the tax and that the vast majority of income earners will be in that middle bracket of 30%. So anyone earning between 45,000 to 200,000 will all just be a 30% flat rate, which is certainly a lot better for most Australians. And still the above 200,000 hit getting the top bracket of 45%. But that doesn't plan to come into effect until 2024. Now, assuming they get elected.
Have you ever heard about the Hong Kong tax system?
No.
I'll tell you in a second what it is. You'll be amazed.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So anyway, so if you look at the KPMG site, they've got it's a little PDF you can download and have a look at that. It's a good little overview for businesses in particular and small business.
Yep. That's awesome.
So that's just a little bit of update. Well, I plan on delving a little bit more into it to try and work out, because it always worries me when we see all this spending, right? So the thing is, they're upping all the spending here, there, and everywhere, but we're now going to be heading for a surplus. So what's dipped out, right? So where are the losers? Where's that money coming from? And that's what I want to know.
Exactly.
That's what I want to know.
That's a $64 million question.
Yeah, it is. So we'll find that. We'll find out.
Okay. All right. Little quick story about the Hong Kong tax system. In Hong Kong, regardless of what you earn, right, they introduced a tax system. So whether you earn $1,000 a year or whether you earn $10 million a year, you pay 15% flat rate.
Yep.
Right? It doesn't seem like much, 15%.
Oh, no.
But the catch on it is there are no deductions. You can't claim any work-related expenses. You can't claim anything.
Right.
It is 15% flat, which means, say, for you and I, if we earn 100 grand a year, you get to keep 85 grand, right? Which is a pretty big difference compared to what we actually pay now. What they found that did to the Hong Kong economy was boost it.
Correct.
Boost it to the point where they are always in surplus.
Yep.
And they're in surplus to the extent that all homeowners were refunded 100% of their rates in the last 5 years.
Holy crap, seriously?
They all got their rates back because there was just too much money sitting in there.
Holy
wow. So they were getting their rates paid back. Right? And that's using a simplified tax system where our tax act is a few million words long. Theirs is pretty much basically complex. You pay 15% of what you earn. That's it.
Simple.
That's it. Simple. And it's worked. Why can't we look at something like that?
I wonder...
Why do we have to have all the convoluted processes we've got?
Well, we need a good excuse to have the massive federal and state government ecosystem to support.
You think that Hong Kong hasn't got one? Look at Hong Kong. It's one of the biggest booming places in the world.
Sure. So I would love to see the size of their government as opposed to ours.
Yeah.
As a comparison of per capita.
Yeah. It'd be interesting. It would definitely be interesting. But anyway,
so here's a question for you, Mr. Deal. Why do we need state politics?
We don't.
Exactly.
Not here in Canberra.
Well, anywhere. I mean, we're all the same country, right? We're all connected.
Yeah, but we got borders.
We're all doing the same. So what? We drive over the borders, right?
Yeah,
we go from state to state.
That's like any country that has borders. They've got state, province politics.
But there's no logical reason.
We need them.
back in 1900, sure, I get it, right? Back in 1900 when, it was took a really long time to get from state to state.
Yep.
And we had to manage those areas, not a problem.
Yep.
But this is 2019. And we're all connected.
But if we didn't have state politics,
yep.
right? Could you imagine the things that would have to change? We could all have the same driver's license.
Oh, I know.
The roads would have the same markings and rules.
Wow, fancy that.
Rail would be drastic because the gauge of all the train tracks would be the same, and that would alleviate the cost of doing all that other stuff.
And hospitals, they'd all be
there's a myriad of reasons why. There's a myriad.
Terrible.
Absolutely.
Right? Instead
terrible.
of all the finger pointing we get now, that's state politics problem. Oh, that's federal politics problem.
Yeah.
Just remove state politics.
Would you trust our federal government to run the whole country? The whole country?
But how is it any worse than it is now? You think state politics is any better than federal?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Right, I got a very, very quick story for you as well.
Go for it.
This one will warm the cockles of your heart. Now, Tiger Woods and Phil Mickleson have always had a rivalry.
Yep.
Right? Phil's won 40-odd events. Tiger's won 80-something, okay? Phil was he never got to world number one because Tiger was always there.
Yeah.
Right? But he was world number two.
Yeah.
He's never won the US Open. He's been runner-up 6 times. But and Tiger's got the wood on him head-to-head. So late last year, November last year, they had a pay-per-view match play. Tiger versus
I read that
Phil.
was coming up, yeah.
Right? Oh, it's over. It was a flop. They both played terribly.
Really?
Right? Phil took the money, but they both played terribly, and it was just one of the most boring events ever seen on TV, especially a pay-per-view.
And I heard it was.
I didn't watch it.
They touted it as worth millions or something.
Yeah. Oh, it was worth $30 million to the winner take all. Right?
Far out.
Right? But we never got the chance to watch it in Australia, so we wouldn't know.
Of course not.
Anyway, last week Phil was at a function for one of the other golfers. It was a wedding or something or other, some sort of function.
Yeah.
And there was a guy at the bar having a drink while Phil Mickleson was getting a drink, and he was having a quick chat, and he turned to Phil Mickleson and he said, "Hey, Phil." And he goes, "What?" Now, Phil didn't know this bloke.
No.
And he says, "You owe me $100. And Mickleson goes, "Why do I owe you $100? I don't even know you." And he said, "Because I paid $100 to watch that pay-per-view thing, and it was shit. It was the most boring fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
$100.
And it was shit.
Seriously?
$100 pay-per-view." All right? And he goes, "It was just crap. It was boring. It was a total flop." So, what's Phil's very classy response?
Well, knowing Phil, I reckon he probably pulled out $100 and gave it to him.
He did.
Yeah.
He pulled out his wallet. He gave it to the guy,
Yeah,
and he said to him, "I won 90,000 of those bills last week. Here you go, and go fuck yourself." It's been confirmed by Phil Mickleson on Twitter. Has confirmed that's how it went down. He said to the guy, "I won 90,000 of these last week." Gave it to him and then said, "And you can go fuck yourself."
I don't know if he actually needed to add the last bit, but whatever.
Mate, but now, our golfers overpaid 90,000 $100 bills.
Yeah.
Wow, not a bad week's work.
But it begs the greater question around money in sport, right? I mean, our sports people, the top end sports people are paid ridiculous amounts of money. But here's the thing, right? And this is where I'm really torn by it. I think money spoils a lot of sport. And coming as a view from a tennis coach back in the day, you could see how money spoils people and the sport, and it changes the whole focus, and it drives a lot of the scheduling, for example, and viewing and TV rights and all that sort of crap.
That's where money is. That's where the money comes from.
And this is right? So if these people, the networks, whoever it is, the venues are raking in hundreds of millions of dollars for people to come and see these stars, then why shouldn't they get a good chunk of that money, right? They're the draw cards.
Absolutely.
They're the draw cards. They're the ones putting in the effort, slogging out their guts.
Absolutely.
And doing it.
We had this conversation. We had this conversation a few podcasts back when we were talking about Nick Kyrgios. Right?
Yeah,
and it's the
and
same.
that's right.
I branched it down to golf as well because I always branched it down to golf.
Yep.
Before Tiger Woods, the winner of a tournament would earn about $120,000 to $150,000, sometimes $200,000 or whatever. When Tiger Woods came on, the crowds were so swollen that the sponsors went up, everyone went up, and suddenly the winner was getting $1 million. Now they're getting 1.5 to $2 million.
Yep.
And that can all be attributed to one man, Tiger Woods.
Yep. Yep.
Right? Because he brought such a level of excitement to the game that's never been seen before, and the crowds still don't go down.
Yep.
Now, Tiger is world number 13 or something now. He's fought his way back.
He's done well.
But he's still not winning like he did. He plays some rounds like he used to, but he's still not winning like he used to, and I don't think he ever will. But
Still
they've
drawing
shown
the crowds.
when Tiger's playing, the crowds are 2 or 3 times bigger than when Tiger's not playing.
Amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. So that's where the prize money came from. You got Federer.
Yep.
I mean, Federer, whether the others get more Grand Slams in the end or not is irrelevant. To me, Federer will always be the greatest of all time. Right? And it's through his actions and Nadal winning so many French because he can't play anything else. Right? And
that's fine words.
And Joker, who's obviously got the game on everything.
I just got to say, I got a friend of mine in Canberra, Jo, and if she listens to this, if she heard you say that, she will throttle you.
No, that's okay. I've got a son if I didn't say it. I've got a son if I didn't say it would disown
you too.
All right, so you've got these guys, and that's who you want to go see. You want to go and see the best of the best. So people pay to go and see them. They fight for tickets to go and see them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right? And so, they deserve it. But does it get too much? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, however many million that they win for winning the Australian Open, millions, or the US Open or Wimbledon, granted, they've got to get through a whole lot of stuff to get there.
Absolutely.
But even if they get knocked out in the first round, they still get something, right? And the second round, the third round, the fourth round.
And I think this is where, I think the sports are not doing themselves any favours, right? They need to support. More money needs to go to the juniors, right? If you want the longevity of a sport, then you have to look after your juniors and you need to support them and properly help them grow, right? There's nowhere near enough money put into the junior sports, and helping those, especially those transition years when the kids get older and they're moving from juniors to seniors. That is a massive move, right? So they need help in going to in making that transition. So more money should flow down from the top. And I'm not saying the top players shouldn't get, a good percentage. They should, because they're, as you said, the draw cards are there. They're the ones bringing in the dollars. But at what point, does someone really? I mean, does Federer really need to earn $100 million? Djokovic over $100 million. Nadal's over $100 million.
But do you think the overthrow of the ATP, the chairman of the ATP, by Joker, that he led it over? They're not getting enough prize money is valid. Not the lower tiers. That argument was for the top players aren't getting paid enough. I mean,
because his argument, and I sort of get what he was saying, right? Because he was looking at how much their sport was bringing into the ecosystem, right? And so when you looked at that as a whole, right, when they are the ones actually bringing in the people, they're the ones that are bringing in the dollars. They were getting such a small percentage. Yeah, but they were getting a small percentage of the entire ecosystem, right? Now, what I'm saying is that money should be better distributed to all the players. That's right. All the players.
And that argument, I think, would have sat better than we need more money.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of hours and a lot of years and months of hard work to get there. I get that.
Yep.
But you've earned as much in a week more in a week
and
than most people earn in their lifetime.
Are you sure Joker was talking about just himself rather than players as a whole?
No, but he was talking about the top players. And he came out and he stated that the top level players are not being paid enough.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so he came out and said that at the Australian Open. Federer and Nadal were of the opposite view. They said, no, he's wrong.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And Joker refused to meet with them before the meeting that overthrew the guy.
Okay. I missed all that. There you go.
Yeah, so
Interesting news.
it's very interesting. Anyway, we're getting off topic. All right, I've got another little snippet of interesting news. Yeah, this one is back to politics, federal politics, just for a minute. And it's a really big pay, well done, fantastic. Go the flying kangaroo, even though you don't have a kangaroo up there anymore, but go the flying kangaroo.
Why?
They threw Fraser Anning out of the Chairman's Club.
Oh, did they just?
Senator Fraser Anning has been kicked out of the Chairman's Club, which is the most exclusive club in the country. It is reserved for the A-listers only. If you're not on the A-list or a federal politician, you don't even get in there. Right? The top frequent flyers, the Platinum 1 frequent flyers, don't get into the Chairman's Club.
Oh, really?
The top 10 frequent flyers in the country get in.
Yep.
And the A-listers. That's it.
Yeah, well.
Right? Fraser Anning was in there because he's a federal politician, and that's normally something extended to the federal politicians. Because of his comments about Christchurch and because of his censure in the Senate yesterday, he was fully censured in the Senate for his comments and his views yesterday.
Yeah.
And following his media conference afterwards where he said it's nothing but a witch hunt, he was right in saying what he did. Qantas has banned him from the Chairman's Club. So go the flying kangaroo.
Well done, Qantas.
And please, ladies and gentlemen, can we just book red e-sale economy tickets for that wanker from now on?
He shouldn't even deserve to go, Qantas, mate.
Oh, mate.
Or Virgin.
No, I know. But now, having given you guys a really big praise, here's a little bit that ties in with the tennis story before.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a tiny little bit where Qantas really,
Well, what have they
that's
done
the
now?
best you can do. Well, one of my boys, Matt, is a mad Roger Federer fan. Apparently, Rafa Nadal is not really a champion in his eyes. When you say, but he's a good tennis player, he goes, is he? Really? Okay.
Slightly
He wanted to go down the Australian Open. All right, so I said to him, well, why don't I get you a frequent flyer ticket? He goes, oh, no, I'll just buy a ticket. So I had a look. Now, this was in January, obviously, Australian Open,
Yep.
but the pollies were beginning to come back and forth to Canberra. Parliament wasn't sitting yet, but they were coming back and forth, right?
Yeah.
So some were coming in and so forth. Now, on a good day, you can get a fare down there for $90, Qantas, Virgin, whatever. On a really good day,
This
you
is
might
Canberra
snag
to
one
Melbourne.
for Canberra to Melbourne,
Yep.
55-minute flight. You might snag one for $75. But Canberra is a
that'd be
politician's town. Yeah, but Canberra is a politician's town. Generally, they're around $120, right?
Yeah.
A politician's town. So Qantas had a special on that week. You could fly return from Melbourne to New York or Sydney to New York for $1,199.
That's pretty cheap.
Right?
Return.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. Return
Yeah,
for
right.
$1,199, right? So you're on the 787 Dreamliner or the A380 across the Pacific, across
Yep.
the continental USA, and all the way home again for $1,199.
Pretty good deal.
Have a guess how much a one-way fare from Canberra to Melbourne was, because the pollies were coming in and out and they don't discount government.
I don't know. 500? I don't know.
$1,249. One way.
No!
Yep.
More
One
than going
way.
to the US.
More than going return. The red E deal was
no.
$899.
Oh, that is insane.
Isn't that insane? That was the cheapest you could go from Canberra to Melbourne. Now, I got him a frequent flight ticket. It cost $55 in taxes and 8,000 points. But isn't that ridiculous? And ladies and gents, that's just a simple example of how Canberra actually does get ripped because the pollies are here, because they don't discount.
No, that's right.
That's crazy. So Qantas,
Canberra is
really?
one of the most
I know I
expensive.
gave you kudos on kicking out that wanker out of the Chairman's Club. That is fantastic, and you did great. But really, seriously,
You balanced it out with...
$1,200 to go to Melbourne? Get a life.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's a bit crazy. That could be your
It is,
beef
isn't
of the
it?
day.
That could be my beef of the day. I thought I didn't have one. I've been holding on to that since January.
Oh, dear,
Go
you're
on.
funny
Cha,
boy.
cha, 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 cha.
Well
All right.
done. I don't
You got
appreciate
anything
that.
else, Mr. Bosel? Or
Oh, look, I think we're probably done long enough. I think we've been going 40 odd minutes, so
We have, and I've got to go and pick up a child from school very shortly. So,
And I got this
ladies and
small
gentlemen,
woodworking.
this is Two Crazy Guys in One Crazy World, episode number 7, not number 8. Don't forget,
No.
we've got 2 intros in there, so if you're counting, there's 8, but in numbers, there's 7. And we all hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we shall see you.
Indeed,
Same
stay
bat time,
safe.
same bat channel, only different place.
All right, keep laughing.
Have a great day, folks.
See you guys. Bye.
See ya. Bye. See you, bud.